welcome to the collaboration in the ecosystem for automotive retail panel. Really excited to have four great panelists here today from different parts of the ecosystem. We have Raj Sundaram, longtime industry expert veteran. We have Matt Carpenter, he's the CEO of Dealerware. We have Brendan Harrington, he's the president of a dealer group out of Fort Worth, Autobahn. And last but not the least, we have Amir Hever. He's the CEO and co-founder of pretty cool company UVI. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. Looking forward to a great 30 minutes together. So with that said, I think before we jump into some questions, it would be great, maybe starting with Raj and then coming across, just a little bit about yourself and why you took the time to be on this panel.
Thank you, Amit, and good afternoon, everyone. I've been in the auto industry 30 plus years. Last few years, NADA feels different. I stopped working full-time in 2019 after DealerTrack was acquired by Cox. I spent 3.5 years with them, and I'm more of an avid investor, involved in several private companies. Love Tekion, been talking to Tekion since 2019, and I decided to come here because the timing is great. It feels like it's never a dull moment in the auto industry. We keep talking about integrations, we keep talking about digital retailing, and somehow the goalposts keep moving. So anyway, that's why I'm here.
Thank you, Raj. Matt?
Thank you, Amit, and thank you for having me. And thank you for having us. I'm Matt Carpenter. I'm CEO of Dealerware since 2019. Before that, 17 years on the OEM side. And maybe most importantly, proud native son of Detroit. So obviously partial to all things automotive and anxious to move this industry forward. And today's topics are super relevant for myself personally, also for the team at Dealerware, but making workflows easier for dealership employees, all to stand up more enhanced and more digital customer journeys across all the franchises and all the locations and all the OEM partnerships that we have. That's what we're in this industry to do, to make the lives of our customers easier and put them in a position to service their customers easier.
All right, Brendan Harrington. We've got some stores in Fort Worth, Texas, and I'm a California refugee, 20 years with the Penske's, ran the Penske Motor Group before I realized Texas is a lot better place to run car dealerships than California. I'm excited to be here today. I met with you guys because I feel like we've all been suppressed in this business for about 20 years, being told, no, can't do that, no, if they even respond to you from CDK and Reynolds. And there's like this awakening now with Tekion where everyone's excited about, hey, we can finally take care of customers. We can finally run our operations more efficiently. And that makes it fun again after doing this for so many years. So thanks for that.
And I have to say, this was not a scripted thing, right, Brendan? No. Coming from the heart.
Yeah.
Amir?
And I'm Amir, coming from UVI. I'm really excited to be here, and thanks, Amit, for inviting me. Really, UVI, we understand the vehicle condition, and I think we're doing kind of a big change in the market. But earlier today, I just spoke with some of our partners, some of our dealerships, and they're using between 30 to 35 vendors here that are presenting in the show. And I think this is exactly what people like to talk. How do we integrate and present data easier, faster, more efficient between kind of all the platforms so we can really provide them a better customer experience and eventually support them to support their customers a lot better and a lot faster.
Okay, thank you. Obviously, a lot of people here, they're passionate about what we are talking about here. It's a very timely topic and subject and will continue to be. So why don't we start with maybe Amir and Matt? Why don't you help us understand specifically and exactly what the integrations or collaboration between Tekion and your companies has been, and how has that improved customer experience as well as dealer efficiencies? So maybe Matt?
Yeah, I'm happy to start. It's a pretty easy question for me to answer. If I ask our customers, what are your biggest problems, especially our dealership users, our daily users of our product, in the spirit of retail technology, almost across the board, they answer with a few things, but at the top of the list is always, I have to use too many different solutions to run my business. My employees have to use too many different solutions to run their part of our business. And that is likely true. But if you get really specific about the friction with dealers, what they have is maybe too many solutions, but definitely they have too many point solutions that don't talk to the other solutions. And as it relates to the integration and partnership between Dealerware and Tekion, what we're standing up is for the ability for the two systems to talk to each other, to allow all of the contract data from our loaner management solution to be visible to a Tekion customer's employee at the dealership. So our data on the customer can be visualized in the product environment that Tekion is standing up. So the dealership employee doesn't have to go back and forth to two different systems and waste all that time and potentially lose some things in technology translation. So I just want to save dealership employees time and make for a better user experience. If we can do that with partners like Tekion, and we believe that we can, we know that our dealership users will be able to enhance the experiences of their retail customers.
Great. Thank you, Matt. Amir?
Yeah, and I can relate to it, right? I think we're all seeing kind of the same difficulties with dealerships, right? They have too many systems. They have a lot of solutions. They're all providing really, really well solutions, but we need somehow to combine all that information. So, for instance, where we take on after the customer drive through our system, everything will be, the customer will get a text message showing all the report, everything that they need to know about their vehicle, what needs to be done with the service, what kind of services they actually need to perform, and they're getting it within 20 to 30 seconds. And that's really, really cool. If you think about the customer, about the whole experience, seeing the same views, same UI, all the information in one place, this is exactly kind of the customer experience that we want to provide. So we're really excited, and we think the more that we collaborate, the more data we can show them in one place, this will change kind of the whole customer experience. We're talking in UVI about the 3 T's: trust, transparency, and time, right? If we can give more transparency, increase the trust with our customers, and at the same time, save time for our dealers presenting everything, this will what drive the business forward and help them to sell more services.
Great, thank you. So just for clarity, Dealerware is the best loan management system, fleet management system out there, and UBI has this great camera-based AI system. You can drive the car and take a 360 view, and it just automatically says what's the underbody, are there some oil leaks, etc., many different things. So I just wanted to give you some context on what these solutions did. So with that said, maybe we take a little bit of our dealer's view. So Brendan, from your perspective, kind of since Autobahn has moved to Tekion and with some partnerships and integrations, give us a couple of examples or maybe even one that you think is highlighted and works well.
Well, first of all, and I'm glad you guys spoke to the fact of how aggravating it is for dealers when you have all these, third-party solutions and all these different places you have to go, because it is really a pain point, right? Both from accuracy and just maintaining it. And I'm to the point, I'll get to your question, but I'm to the point now if a vendor, no matter how much I like it, if the vendor says, just go to our third-party website, go to our website, it's great. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to another website. But actually, we have a lot of these guys were great partners to begin with, helping us solve, because we had a lot of problems with our loan cars, having to ask customers twice for their credit cards, twice for their insurance and all the information, driver's license. And it was all embedded in the system, so it became much more efficient at every step of the way. But with your system now, we got a bunch of guys who are like Gather, Jim from Gather, and Kirby we're talking to for doing mobile service. And so finally, all these people are like creating these entities that really make our customer experience so much richer, right? And again, do all the things we want to do for so many years and don't require that third-party website to go to that no one wants to go to.
Great. Thank you. I think a lot of the dealer users here can totally relate to what you're saying. They deal with this all day. So I'm going to move a little away from Tekion and the partner integrations here and maybe start talking a little bit about the industry and ecosystem as a whole. So Raj, as you said, you've been 30 years in this. You've seen a lot of it. And, from your perspective, what has happened in the past, how it has helped or hindered, and what needs to happen in the future when it comes to ecosystems and collaborations. Because a lot of times, solution providers feel threatened by each other. Is that helped? What has your experience been, and how should we be moving forward?
Well, I'm going to preach to the choir here because I think most dealers will agree. DMS by default has become like the gatekeeper. That's the history of the DMS. In the interest of kind of protecting the integrity of the data, they've almost blocked the dealers from establishing smoother workflows. So, with that said, I would say things have changed, but they've not changed. We continue to talk about integrations. I mean, it's a topic that 10 years back that led DealerTrack to even acquire a DMS was because of the fact that we were getting blocked. So I think I look at fast forward today, I'll tell you the one opportunity that Tekion has, not only is the system unbelievable, the one version of the truth is incredible, and the fact that like Apple, it's a very closed but open system. It's closed and open both. So I think they can create workflows that can really help dealers kind of opt in because dealers have to make the decision on what they're comfortable. I'll give you two examples. I've talked about 7-8 dealers before this show. There isn't a dealer that is worried about inventory growing and equity mining. That is one thing. They feel like they keep going to different systems to find out what the equity is. If there's a way to kind of execute on what Jay talked about yesterday, the big data, AI capabilities, and somehow automate all the vehicles in their so-called UIO, the dealer's UIO or dealer group's UIO that are in positive equity that they can work with. And how do you display it so dealers can also start to combine roles within the dealership? The second one, I would say a huge priority is sales and service, because the same conversation of equity starts to integrate a lot better if sales and service are integrated. Somebody's coming in for a service, depending on what UBI says, if the repair bill is big, all of a sudden, knowing you have equity in the vehicle, link it to inventory, and find out what deal structures would make the most sense. And I will say this, the other one that I think is huge for Tekion is finding a way to simplify deal structures. It is still complicated. Desking is still out there in its own way, and every dealer and dealer group kind of does it their own way. So anyway, back to what you asked, that's what I would say. If you want to help the dealers implement simpler workflows, enriching the customer experience, get through ultimately selling vehicles faster, this would be, I think, a huge priority in the next 24 to 36 months. I think we're going to go back to the days of pushing inventory. That's where the OEMs will be. So,
sounds good. Anybody wants to add anything to what Raj is saying?
No, I think it's very interesting because you're talking about workflows, but eventually dealers are seeing more and more customers all the time. They would like to grow the business, but at the same time, we ask them to do more and more things, more inspections, more loaner cars, more things that they need to support. But at the same time, we need to give them the ability to, first of all, provide the same service that we would like them to provide, but also kind of the better tools, more efficient workflows so they can actually perform and keep increasing their business.
Well, I'd say you guys are kind of talking way up here. For a lot of us that were coming off like CDK, we just wanted to have actually access to our data. I mean, forget like all the fancy weaving. It's like, hey, can we just be able to use it ourselves? Like that was the first level that was so great with Tekion because you could very quickly get into all the different parts of your business and figure out what's going on.
Great. Yeah. So, now talking about where you started going with Raj, with better workflows and stuff, as you know, Tekion's view has been, we cannot do it all by ourselves. Therefore, having brilliant partners, innovative partners, and giving them the ability to go do it with the data that Brendan is talking about has been key for us. It's almost like not closing it, like Apple became Apple because of the Apple Store, having a marketplace, making it easier for others to build. So that's kind of where we're going. So having said that, though, and this comes back to Amir and Matt, you deal with the entire ecosystem, right? And clearly, as entrepreneurs, you have a lot for the system, the application you're building, and then you get sometimes blocked, sometimes you get deprioritized, etc. Personally, how does that feel, and how do you then prioritize which partners you guys want to work with? You could have gone to Android, or you could have been stuck with Microsoft, or you could have gone to Apple. How do you decide where to focus on? Maybe Matt?
Yeah, this could be a long one, so I'm gonna give the shorter version of something I'm pretty passionate about.
Sure.
So the first thing related to the user experience, which is like everything to us, everything to me. I am not, and we are not at Dealerware territorial about owning the screen all the time, right? So whether it's data from our product or customer information from our product, if that is visualized in the workflows to the user at the dealership in a different product environment like Tekion, we are okay with that if that makes the user experience better. I don't know if everybody views the world that same way, and that doesn't mean that I'm not very proud of the product and the platform and the entire environment that we've built at Dealerware. But in the end, we are in business to service the customers, and if they can get their task done faster in Tekion than going back and forth from Dealerware to Tekion, like I'm here for it even if I don't own the screen, right? The other thing, maybe more on the business side that is a tell for me, when we talk about partnerships and we talk about commercial agreements, if the other side of the discussion goes too fast to terms on how we can all make money, I don't think they're getting me and they're not getting the point, right? Like that will come if you stand up the best, not only user experience, but also interoperability between multiple systems for the user.
Sure. Great example. I have to say, it really does take courage and a complete confidence in your own product to say what you just said. You will use my product, Mr. Dealer, but you can use it inside of Tekion. That's really future thinking. I mean, that's what's going to help with the next generation ecosystem. So thank you for that comment, Matt. Amir, what about you?
Yeah, so we're looking on the value, right? And value can be a lot of different things. How do we make the dealer more efficient? How do we help the customer to see all the data a lot faster and everything they need to do? But what is the value combining kind of our data and kind of the data from Tekion or from any other vendor that we're working with, right? How it will affect the existing workflows, how it's going to affect the customer. This is what we're trying to measure. If it makes sense, if our customers and our customers' customers sees the benefit, sees the value, then we'll do it. Generally, and I think Dealerware the same can share the same vision as we are. We have open API, so we can work with kind of like Tekion as well. We can work with more vendors. We're sharing our data with them, so it will be easier to build those workflows, to build those dashboards, so customers can benefit and have a lot of value for what we're bringing them.
So that's how you prioritize where you spend your energy.
Exactly.
Got it. So Brendan, obviously, you have made sure your views on some of the legacy providers are well known here, but Tekion has also just started, right? And it's a good start. What would you tell Tekion and partners that are working with Tekion as a dealer representing the dealer community in the future of retail? What should we be doing more? What is the right path for us? What do you expect from us?
Well, I mean, certainly there's always growing pains, right? When you're brand new. Okay, yeah. So I would say the biggest difference that I'm seeing is that because it is so much easier to analyze your business and go down the rabbit holes of the different areas, whether it's parts, service. Like I have GMs that are going deep into ROs or into parts areas that they never would have ventured before, because unless you remembered F3 \2 XY, you couldn't get there. And so I think there's a real need at Tekion actually to elevate the long-term training, like master classes, because all of my guys are just going much deeper into the systems and analyzing our operations in ways they never did before, right? And so long-term, they need to know what they're doing more effectively from an operations standpoint, but also how to optimize the software. So I'd say that's the biggest thing. The biggest problem you have is your software is so good, people are actually using it.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So, and in summary, we got to make sure that people keep up with the software, they know how to use it, get retrained, get better at it.
Go from like just knowing how to use it, basics. Like think about auto dispatch. Auto dispatch, you can have it up and running within 4 hours, but you're not going to master it, right? It's like that level of like learning how to really use the software, I think is going to be a differentiator that should be looked at.
Yep. Any other comments, Raj? Thinking about the dealers and
No, I think Brandon brought up a good point. I mean, I was thinking strategically, but on a day-to-day basis, like Brandon said, let's go down to the right level, make sure the data is accessible. I'm waiting for the day where Brandon and other dealers start to embrace what I would call more transparency within the dealership. If the technology allows it, being able to have more people than one. The dealership I get all my vehicles from, to this day, the GM is the only one who gets access to understanding desking, what kind of payments can be calculated. So I think there's a lot of complexity still that needs to be worked out, but over time, I think what Tekion can really bring through integration and workflow is the ability for the dealers to say they can start to allow multiple people within the dealership. And one of my dreams would be, Brandon, hopefully this gets accomplished in the next 2 to 3 years, is college grad hires. Because as technology improves, the overall experience of shopping and delivering improves, you can start to look at a very different profile of who you hire in the dealerships. And that's what you need, speed. You want speed, you want to make sure you don't miss a deal, but you also want to take advantage of the right information.
Yeah. Actually, transparency is one of the things, it is one of the big differences we have now. And so with the analytics tool, you can see every department, how it's doing day to day, minute to minute, right? So the goal for the month changes as the day goes on. So everyone knows how every department's doing, and all your receivables are easily accessible. And so there's no hiding. Full transparency also means no hiding, right?
Right. Awesome. So one thing I would say, it's amazing that the auto business has come this far along with a lot of these blockages of data and stuff like that. You don't see that outside of the auto business that much. And now we are starting to get into this side of things. But Tekion is one player among others, right? It requires two to tango. It requires many more people to be a good party. So what are the implications if we as an industry don't do this and we continue to behave the way we have been behaving? How does that impact the auto business, the way customers think about us, and long-term profitability and viability for us in the traditional model? Start?
Well, yeah. I will tell you.
You were looking at me, so I was like...
Well, I was thinking, how maddening it's been the last number of years when people come in and they expect to be able to buy a car or service their car just like going on Amazon and buying something. They want it to be super easy. They want the car to show up before they even thought about buying it, and they want it to be just seamless. And when you're sitting there with the legacy software and it takes you 30 minutes to print the paper and then all the delays, and people just don't understand it. And when you talk to a partner, they don't even want to listen to what you're saying. It's maddening, right? Because the customers are getting mad at you, your employees are getting frustrated, and there's no change.
Okay, Matt?
Yeah, I've used this one before. I'll use it now and I'll use it again. If in any business you don't win on experience today, you compete on price. That's it. Full stop. Name me a business that can not win on experience and hold price and margin. And the new experience to match is not the best automotive experience. It's the best retail experience for the consumer across all industries. And, I'm proud of what we do. Tekion's proud of what they do. All of us are proud of what we do. But that said, the consumer doesn't care what DMS platform or loaner fleet management platform that the dealership runs on. What they care about is how fast, efficient, transparent, and yes, today digital, did they get through the whole journey, both for sales and both for service.
Yeah, well said. So in summary also, if we don't get to the customer experience, you see industry-wide profitability long term will be at pressures because there are other external factors that we have to take into consideration, right?
And it's not sustainable. It is not fun to be in the high volume, low margin business. So we have to, as an industry, stand up and lead on experience, or we just compete on price with each other, and nobody really wins that game.
Nobody.
Well, yeah, because we were forced as dealers to operate in really crappy experiences for customers, that's why we have CarMax. That's why we have Carvana. That's why we have Tesla, right? But now we're getting unlocked to actually take care of people properly, and that's great.
Yeah. thank you so much for visiting with us and the 25 minutes. Appreciate all of you guys taking time from your busy schedules. Very important topic and more to be continued. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks for hosting.
Thank you.